That's why you're blocked. Blocked.
That's why you're blocked. You're listening to That's Why You're Blocked podcast.
Okay, so I feel like we should just skip the part of us being really bad podcast people and just get into it. Hey, how are you? This is your girl, Carson Bailey.
And Krystall, your favorites.
Period. And so we're back. It's been a minute, so we'll start with the where you been up to.
You know me, blessed and highly favored. I can't complain, and feeling a little bit of shenanigans. But overall, I've been having fun. What about you?
Baby, I've been working. Just working. Like that little TikTok thing or whatever. I've been I don't know. I feel like I've been a hamster on a wheel. And I'm tired. Like, it's summer. It's hot. And I'm trying to, like, save my ducats and not do a lot because I'm trying to be real cute for a vacation next month.
Fun.
But the way that my appetites and impulse control is set up, any minor inconvenience, I feel like I deserve dessert or something. So I got to work on that for sure. But I guess we've been all right. So let's just
go on and get right into the meat and potatoes, the steak, the meal.
Okay, so for today is, shit that I've seen on social media. I'm going to plug this page that I follow on Instagram called The Darkest Hue. And I had seen a post. And
Make
I was
some noise for The Darkest Hue, everybody. Thank you, studio audience.
All right, we'll let the crowd die down. All right, stop.
I like pressing the buttons. I'm button happy today.
All right, so essentially the post was called Becoming White Again, Kim Kardashian's white woman debut. And so what it has is several posts, and then there's a post still up from Kim Kardashian's then 17-year-old sister, Kylie Jenner, thanking her sister for teaching her how to turn from a good girl to ghetto. And so it's really interesting to see the transformation that white women do when they've, quote-unquote, grown up. And I've seen that a lot where it's like, there was this trend called, the Cheeto,
that's
hot Cheeto thing.
That's what I was about to talk about. Or,
like,
retired hot Cheeto girl, I think was the trend.
Yeah.
And it was just really them stop appropriating
black culture and trying to settle down and find them a white man, which I do find very interesting. That is like a quote-unquote phase that white women go through. And Kim Kardashian is not the only culprit. People that come to mind immediately, Ariana Grande, most of the Kardashian Jenner clan for sure.
Christina Aguilera.
A little bit, yeah.
She was like the appropriation queen. What are you talking about?
Are you thinking of Gwen Stefani?
Dang.
I think I was gonna say Christina Aguilera.
Oh, I got them mixed up. I meant to say Gwen Stefani.
I was gonna say because Christina Aguilera is a girl, like
Gwen Stefani,
the appropriation queen, for sure. And she said it don't matter
if you anybody. Yeah, she did
every fucking body.
She was giving the girl Scarlett Johansson.
And even that whole like meme-ification. And so
yeah, it's just really interesting. I mean, we would make jokes about it, but
and then there's this one post that was in 2014 that has a picture of the 3 Kardashian sisters, and it says the only KKK to ever let black men in. And Khloe Kardashian shared this meme on Instagram with the caption "True."
That early 2010s Instagram was
kind
of crazy. Like, I wasn't on Instagram at the time, but it's like when you look back, I think that early 2010 social media in general was just out of pocket. Like, and now there's these people who believe there's like this greater conscious movement and people getting canceled, and that's just how the internet was back then. But should it have ever been like that? Like,
I feel like people just like lack human decency. So I'm going to quote them directly. Besides their blatant appropriation of black American women aesthetics through coupling and having children with famous black men, the Kardashian Jenner clan has been racialized as racially ambiguous white women. And that's the thing, like blackfishing. They've kind of done, like, they were the start, and I think that's definitely a more new term with that, and I think it's
not new, it's just the term is new.
Yes, what I'm saying, a new term, of describing, because it's one of those things where it's like on the internet a lot, and it's so weird to see them want to be black girls on Instagram, but like nobody wants to be black in real life.
Yeah, and it's funny because I remember when I was on social media, I saw this video of this thing. I can't even plug them because I don't remember who it was. But basically, this black woman interviewing this white woman about her content on TikTok, and she was basically not letting her have it. And then the white woman was cop out, was like, "You're being aggressive," and she had quoted things he said on TikTok like, "Oh, I'm gonna have black kids anyway, or I'm gonna be with a black man anyway." And she was kind of asking, "What do you mean by that?" and stuff like that. And she was like, "I never said that." And then she showed her the video, and she's like, "Well, why are you being so aggressive?" And then this same girl, I don't know if you saw this video, was talking about how one of her mentors, or how Kevin Samuels was her mentor. So
I know the girl you're talking about. She has like a show or something on one of the networks. I'm picturing her face, but her name is drawing a blank.
That's not who I'm talking about, because you're talking about Z-Way.
Yeah.
That's not who I was talking about. This was on social media. This was someone on TikTok. But I also appreciate...
I was gonna say, because I didn't think Z-Way.
Yeah, her
but yeah, I what I
style
find
of
interesting is how immediately they will jump back into their white woman privilege when called out, and like you're being aggressive, and like them pretending to act ignorant to when a white woman calls any person of color, especially black people, aggressive, what that does and what that means. Like even the whole like codification of Karen, where they've turned it into this thing of where it's like a rude customer, when it's really a white woman using her power to cause harm to people of color, but especially black people, men and women. And it's just so interesting how like they'll take, like, they just like to steal shit, like no matter what they will steal shit. And I
mean, their culture is just copy and paste, but that's how it's been from the beginning. So.
Yeah, for sure. And the lack of accountability that falls in with that. But I just found it really interesting that we are currently watching essentially the whitewashing of the Kardashian Jenners. And
I mean, not just them, but kind of that greater impact on what that means, and kind of, I guess, the way in which the world is shifting. Well, I think, like the globalization of everything based on the internet, based on social media, is that they do have a lot of people, and not just them, but who kind of follow blindly behind influencers. Mm-hmm. So when you really think about what they're doing and what this shift means, it's a lot of people that are going to follow this trend.
You know what? That's interesting. Yeah. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I mean, and I hate to like do this even, because like I hate like influencers and being at the forefront, but they do have a lot of influence, and a lot of people do follow them. So they're going to be, and you see that in the retired hot Cheeto girl, and just kind of that. What is the other thing that's big or was big? I'm not on social media right now, so don't do me if it's old. But that soft girl aesthetic too. I feel like that's a part of it
clean
as well.
Girl, soft clean girl, and all that stuff. Which, like, I just don't understand how they're the pinnacle of beauty when on numerous occasions, until it is sooted, white people will admit how fucking dirty they are and how they don't bathe. And I remember a whole bunch of celebrities admitting to that too. And I felt like, I was going to be in my conspiracy bag. I do think that that was why there are a lot of people coming out with that, is because at some point we were going to be essentially like how do I say this? Not going to be a lot of water and resources. So people are now admitting to that, so that, in the forefront, when it does come, that we are not able to have the hygiene that we want. It's a conspiracy theory.
I'm going to say that's a big stretch, because it's being like that. Like,
hello? Sorry, we had some technical difficulties, but we're back. I don't even remember where we were. We were kind of talking about just white people not bathing. So,
but I think that it's not really that situation, because what I was talking about is, how every summer there kind of is that one thing that used to trend a lot. It was talk about whether going in the pool counts as like whether you're clean or not, because of the chlorine and stuff. So that's why I have to kind of come back at you and say that I think what you're saying is too much of a reach, and maybe that is where we're going. I mean,
this shit is sterile, yeah.
What have you?
Right. Yikes.
I don't think that's what was the goal. I think by that, ostensibly they might have been introducing what you were talking about, but
what is your thought on that? bath, the swimming in the pool count as a bath?
Absolutely not.
And chlorine is pretty harsh.
And chlorine is harsh on your skin anyway.
And
so
as somebody who's worked at a fucking pool and done that whole like chemical balance, a lot of times that shit don't have enough chlorine in it. It's honestly very unsanitary. I would make sure that you wary pools with cautions. Like I remember at Hikes, I used to be going to not 7-Eleven, Six Flags, and like honestly, as an adult, like that shit's probably fucking disgusting.
Right. I mean,
because have you ever seen anybody at Six Flags clean anything?
I mean, I feel like they used to do the trash, maybe, kind of, sort of.
I'm talking about like the pool
No,
or any of the roller coasters.
No.
Yeah.
Is the long anticipated return of P Valley, and
oh
just
my
kind of our
gosh.
thoughts about that.
Because at the present time, we have watched up to episode 6.
And how many episodes is this season? 8, 10?
I think it's 10.
It better be 10, as long as we waited.
Well, I
It
mean,
should be like 30, considering.
I don't know. All these episodes have been like having me high on emotions, and I will say that I did kind of binge watch like the first 5 episodes in one day.
I don't think P Valley is a binge. I'm not the biggest binger. Well, I've been binge watched kind of mindless stuff, so I don't know if P Valley is something that's worth the binging. Because
I had a lot of like it's just like so much, and I was talking to actually Chanel Shots about how
to Chanel.
It's kind of like this season has been coming very hard, and I'm like I kind of miss the petty stripper drama,
remember the origin of it was based off that lady's play. But she sued them about that. So that's why like the whole theme and like the show is going in a completely different direction than it was before. Because they no longer have access to
the source material.
That source material of the play.
Okay.
And she's like, yeah, y'all got it. And
what was the play about?
It was about the same thing. And I feel like the play might have been called Pussy Valley. Like,
oh, that's why they call it P Valley.
Yeah. So, but she sued them. So that's why this is going in a completely different direction.
It's interesting. Well, I guess, like, I'm not, the writings have definitely been in their bag, but it's just like a little too close to home. Like,
and I will say, and not to do spoilers, but I'm not a fan, and maybe this is just me, my own outsider. I like to step away. I don't know if I'm a fan of pandemic content.
Yeah. It's kind of like this shit really is like we're watching the worst of time. I was telling my own mother that I feel like being a young adult this day is so hard and heavy, and not enough people talk about it. Like we've literally been growing up on unprecedented times, and I feel like there's just been tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. You don't even get the proper time to mourn anything.
When you really like go back to the very beginning of like those of us in our early to mid 20s, you think about we've been through a lot, like 9/11, Osama,
Hurricane Katrina, any of the other myriads of hurricanes, several recessions, the fucking pandemic, fucking the Black Lives Matter
epidemic of school shooting, on top of childhood obesity,
on top of like the fucking you said school shootings?
I did say school shooting, but I was also gonna say during the advent of the time of officially No Child Left Behind, because I was like the George
birth
Bush
of
thing.
social media, and all of
the growth of social media and kind of transitioning. So
it's just
we've been going through it, y'all. So
and it's like I said, you can't even mourn tragedies properly, like the thing that happened in Buffalo, right? Since then, the time to mourn, it's been like 4 or 5 other mass shoot. Yeah, I know. Then there's the elementary school stuff, and then there's the overturn of Roe v. Wade. It's just like it is shit on top of shit, especially as like a young woman. Shit on top of shit. The price of everything is gone up. Gas has gone up. Food has gone up. It's only gonna get higher. Rent has gone up. The only thing that has not gone up is how much money you make at fucking jobs. It's so draining.
It's a crazy time.
Yeah, it's 0 out of 5 stars, terrible. But like outside of that, like P Valley has been pretty good. What I found very interesting is like the outrage towards like the gay stuff versus the outrage towards like domestic violence, especially with the male audience. Like niggas did not like the gay stuff, but was very silent.
You know what? You're right. You're definitely right, because. And not to give away spoilers, but there is some sexually explicit scenes.
Several.
involving, well, I said something, but like homosexual kind of, I don't know what
relations,
I guess is like the best way. I'm not trying to like give it away, but that was the one that was outraged. But there were also like lesbian scenes like that one weren't the outrage the same way, and two arguably more explicit.
Yeah, for real.
And then you just putting that point about the domestic violence, like it was a light bulb. Like that was not even the subject matter of any of the content during the discourse. That's anti-P-Valley. So that's, you know what, you just hit a nail on the head with that one.
And I think they do a good job of talking about the intricacies of domestic violence. I just had a fucking light bulb. I'm like, all right, it's not like, I don't think this is what, but Keyshawn honestly might not even be 21.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the biggest point, because Mercedes is one of the older people, and she's supposed to be maybe 25. I don't think she's supposed to be 30 yet.
She has to be over 30.
She's not supposed to be over 30.
Her 15-year-old daughter is 15 when she was 15.
But in the first season, they said she was 25. That's why like they messed that up.
Yeah.
Because in the first season, she was 25, and this is supposed to be a month later.
Yeah, if she had the baby at 15, right? And the child is now a teenager.
So she's early 30s. She's not old, but I'm saying they messed that timeline up. Is what I'm saying.
I agree.
Because in the first season, they said that she was 25.
Yeah, ain't no way. And I'm like, she doesn't look 25 either. And I don't think she looks bad or anything.
She doesn't look bad either.
But I look like that's a grown woman.
Yeah, so.
But, yeah, so just that whole idea, rationale, because I think a lot of the discourse that did come with, like, domestic violence and all that stuff, it takes about a woman 7 tries before she leaves for good. And they think about, like, they had an episode where they kind of had her backstory come out. And you realize, I'm like, dang, if you're talking about when she just had the baby's still, like, a toddler.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the oldest child that she has is a toddler.
And this happened in high school, maybe? Like, that's, like, she's pretty young.
Yeah.
And so a lot of what I felt like the discourse around her, like, oh, she should leave. I'm like, where's she going to go? She's so young.
But I think that's also not trying to I think them establishing and making it clear kind of her age in the timeline should allow for what you just realized, kind of that more grace period and just understanding like, hey, this is a young person.
Yeah.
But I guess the oldest person out of all of the main characters is Uncle Clifford.
Period. And like his outfits giving. All of it's so extra, but I fucking love it.
No, it's so hilarious, like without a doubt. But
and even his like mask, like that matches his clothes, like his mask are everything too. I like that. What is your conspiracy on one of the characters? One of the strippers?
Oh, okay. But that's a spoiler. That's why I can't really get into it.
I was like, it's episode 6.
Okay. So there is a character named Whisper, who I'm pretty sure is a personification of cocaine use. In that she only is there when what's her name gets high.
It's not true, because she's been in other scenes where she wasn't high.
But the other people must have been high. That's what I'm saying. She's not real. I feel like that's going to be the big drop of the season. It's like she never existed. Like it was just old. Like she was just cocaine. Like that was her whole thing.
I don't think that's
because why did her? Okay, I was about to spoil, but I was gonna say, yeah, I don't want to spoil it. But bitch, details of that. Come on now. Podcast integrity, no spoilers.
All right, well, we'll just put a trigger warning in the beginning. Spoiler alert.
Right, but when that thing with her eyes were lighting up, why was her eyes lighting up? Because
she's
cocaine.
A strip club.
She's cocaine.
She's not cocaine.
She's cocaine.
All right, you know what? We'll come back. We will.
What do they call cocaine? White girl. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
Fucking stupid. All right, but I also found like episode 6 really heavy because the show in itself has trigger warnings for the more explicit episodes, and definitely episode 5 and 6 had a lot of trauma in it, especially as somebody who's kind of like experienced both. Granted, I guess I haven't really had domestic violence, thankfully, but I've had an attempted assault and stuff like that, and it was heavy. And a part of me is like, damn, I like this show, but this shit is too got like, I kind of miss the show. Like, I don't know if I want the show to like just be a break from
reality.
Yeah, and I'm just, you know what I really would like? A show where like the characters are black, but that's never brought up. Like they're just existing and they don't have like black people issues. And like I don't know if that's
Do you feel like there is a show Living Single?
yeah. I mean they I feel like they did a pretty good job of that. But I mean there were incidents where that came up. But like I do think
But it wasn't
like
as
yeah, a thing that like a lot of shows, especially nowadays, have to have. It's kind of like a checkbox of like you gotta have a gay character, you gotta have this, you gotta have that. And I just really want a show about black people just existing and like their blacklist not even be a thing. It's kind of like, oh, yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's not as overtly as it seems to be. Like the whole advent of like Blackish and all that stuff, where it's like, yes, it was good to see that show and
I think they have importance too, especially.
topics, but you kind of realize with those shows like that the target audience
isn't
not
black people. And like I guess that's what I'm tired of seeing black shows made for white people.
So it's kind of black or gay or whatever for consumption, for mass consumption, which I think detracts from the authenticity of that. And I think also just not having, and this has just been a big thing, is just not having people in the room.
Writers in the room. Well, because, you know, writing in of itself is a privileged job and a lot of people don't understand that. So in order for you to have like diversity in that, you've got to change that.
You got to be open to diversity. And that's even like across shows, like just having different perspectives and different things, because you notice even little things that really show itself in the details. Yeah. Like for example, shows like Insecure,
Abbott Elementary, Golden Standard, shout out to their Emmy nominations.
Because you can tell that they really consulted with people and like it's accurate, it's present. I mean, granted, I've never been or worked in education.
It is very, very real. Like I know,
but I can tell by the way that it's received how accurate it is, and
it's still funny and like. I don't know. It was good. I really enjoyed Abbott Elementary, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Yeah. I hope that it has several seasons, like Modern Family.
Putting it out there. And definitely what I appreciate kind of the most is that, it is a comedy, and it does make light of situations, but they don't really poke fun or, like, do that kind of cheap comedy. Yeah. Well, like, they never really made fun of any of the students really in like a weird or offensive way, or the teachers even though what's her name is kind of the butt of the jokes, but
isn't like they know that she cares so much. It's cute, and I think that the children of the show definitely get all the applause. They've been holding it down. Them children actors.
Funny story about that is I didn't realize they were actors. I thought that they just shot it at a school.
Well, that's the premise of the show.
But because I remember, like, my friend, we were arguing about this, and then I kind of had that aha moment, and I was like, wow, I'm dumb as fuck. Because I was like, well, how did they get all the students put, like, they were at an elementary school, like, it's clearly an elementary school building, and they have how did they get all the different grades, and they had all these extras. Why would they pay for all these extras when they could just show up to a school? And then she's just like, there's so many child actors, like, it's nothing. Yeah. But then one of the big points, and this is, I mean, hearing it back now is hilarious, but in the moment I was like really passionate about this. I was like, but they wear uniforms.
And when you think of it, style, like, it's probably a pretty easy way.
And that's probably a better, like, that's so much better for the budget anyways. So that was kind of the funny part for me, is realizing that and hearing that argument back now is hilarious. But when I was in the thick of it, you could not tell me that they didn't just walk up to a school with the camera
into the thick of it. All right, so yeah, we're just sorry. We were having a little technical difficulties because my dog likes to be in our faces while we're recording, and she stepped on the cord or whatever. But all right. Yeah, so I think that Abbott Elementary was a pretty good job of a show that centered around black people, but it wasn't like about blackness. Like, it wasn't like black people jokes for white people. It was like school jokes.
Right, which shows that there's a need, there's a want, there's a space for that. And you could be funny without being offensive.
Yes, and I think like especially all the IG comedians.
Prop comedy and stuff like that, where you're making fun of something or targeting a community.
Well, punching down, I guess, is what it's... No, not punching down. You can't punch down. You can punch up.
just punching in general.
Well, I mean, yeah, that is true.
I mean, Abbott Elementary wasn't offensive.
Yeah, it was a good show. I really enjoyed it. It was a good show,
and I think it showed different perspectives too.
And even Insecure, because I wasn't necessarily even a comedy, but to me, I regard that as a funny show. But you know, what I do appreciate is the ladies like Quinta and Issa, like how they've been able to use social media
as a catalyst for their career.
And it's very inspiring. And as a bitch that's like want to be creator in that space,
well, you gotta be prophetic about those things. So not want to be, gonna be.
Yeah, I think my issue is I want to do like several things. Like I have
do it,
but I saw this one TikTok where this lady essentially had several businesses, but it was all under the same umbrella.
Okay.
And I feel like my wants and needs don't all fit under that, all of the same umbrella.
So make it work or get different umbrellas. But if you want to do it, do it.
Okay. All right.
It's like you don't have to follow somebody else's
Well, I
formula.
know. I get that.
If you put all of the ingredients in a separate order, you still make a cake.
Yeah, I know. What I'm just saying is, in order to be good at, like, you got to give each thing attention.
But what I'm saying is, to give the thing, these are things you're going to want to do, so you're going to give them attention.
Yes, but can you really start several different businesses at the same time, giving each of them the attention that it needs? No, you can't multitask.
No, but okay. I mean, yes and no. I mean, there's a way, and I think the biggest thing for me is just there's time in the day for everything. I thoroughly, strongly, completely agree with that. Granted, there are some biases and stuff like that with that statement, but if you want to go get it, and it's out there for you to take it, but you can find excuses if they're out there the same way.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't multitask, but you can. It's more like driving a stick shift, right? Like you're not always going the same speed, but you're moving in the same direction.
Okay. Book Krystal for your motivational speaking.
You know, I'd really do this, but that's just I mean, everything I want to do in life, I know I'm going to do it because I'm going to make it happen. Like, that's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried.
And I realize that I am definitely more of the cautious person.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be more, because I'm definitely just a jump, figure it out later.
Yeah.
But you don't also want to spend too much time
overthinking,
because then you'll never jump.
Yeah, so I think that, you know, we
and you don't know if you're going to fall or fly unless you jump. But I have been known to jump a little too early. So I guess just taking the times to prepare, because I'm not afraid to jump. So just getting to the point, training, preparing, so that when I jump, I know I'm going to be good. Because I've been good just jumping, so I'm going to be great doing it the next time. But, yeah. So that was our motivational break.
Obviously, this episode, I don't even know what we're going to call this. We've gone a lot of different places. Umbrella episode.
Listen, we're going everywhere.
Have you ever watched the Umbrella Academy?
No, I haven't.
And the new season coming, I haven't seen it, but like the show is pretty interesting and good. Such a probably neurodivergent like sidetrack. You ever see those like ADHD TikToks and stuff like that? And it's like, these jokes are funny, but should I be getting tested?
No, I haven't seen any. Those don't show up didn't show up on my For You page.
Oops. See, I don't know. The more I work with neurodivergent people, the more I realize, like,
you trying to spot the signs and stuff.
But it's like, damn, I probably needed some medication too. Right. Like, you know, I will say, somebody who works extensively with kids, watching like their thought process, it's very fascinating. Because some kids, to me, I could literally see that there's only elevator music playing in their head, like do.
But okay, so I guess my question to you, since you've observed it, do you feel like is lack of stimulation that they're like that, or do you believe that, you know, some people just ain't got shit up there?
I think that there's a part of
both.
I think it's like a little bit of both, but also I do feel like the more you're around kids, the more you realize like kids don't really know anything, and the older I get, I realize adults don't know shit either. I think that
vibing.
Yeah, as I'm saying, especially as I'm getting older, you realize that the adults in your life growing up were making the decisions, granted, just as best they could, like good, bad, or indifferent. They were just guessing. And so when you realize that, you look at children, and it's like you really can't even fault them. Like, shit, we don't know.
I mean, we all just vibing for real.
And I think that what I do find pretty interesting is that the impact that I am having, like it's kind of, it just put me in awe sometimes. Like when I look and think of adults that I think of fondly and that I wanted to emulate and that I had positive experiences and ideas, like I'm that person. But I also know that I could be opposite of that. Like I had maybe not the best experience with certain adults, and some kids can say the same thing.
You're right. I
me.
mean, but that's
just life. But I just feel like I said, it's just the influence is sometimes a little jarring. Because I remember one of the kids were quoting me because we were playing jump rope, and I was like, "Scared money don't make no money." And he's like, "Right, that's what Miss Joy said. So you just gotta jump in." And I was like, "There you go."
But I mean, it's funny because you do realize as you get older how so many different people had influence on you, whether positive or negative. Because I think about that too, and just kind of you don't know the kind of impact you're gonna leave on someone.
Yeah, and I think you definitely want to be cognizant of that because
regardless of how innocuous the interaction was,
you
could really just
change the trajectory of somebody's life.
Well, then that's kind of the whole butterfly effect.
Yeah,
thing.
Because I know there's been certain incidents where people have said things to me that really hurt me. And when you kind of bring that up to them, they're like, I don't even remember saying that. And you kind of realize how insignificant that whatever that was to them versus how impactful it was to you. Especially, like I said, I've had that conversation with my parents. It was like, yeah, when you had this reaction, X, Y, and Z, and it's a lot of like unlearning that had to be done. And so, yeah, but we have just completely gone off a topic. So the next thing, it's good conversation.
Yeah, I was like, sometimes you just gotta let it flow.
I know, but me, I'm just a little bit of a slight like control freak, and I realize I get it from my mom, but like just a little bit. Like I need an itinerary.
I do
or
appreciate
planner, outline,
control, and stuff. Like there's aspects of my life where I'm very.
And you do a bunch better. You're disciplined. I think that's the thing.
Exigent discipline about the way in which I want to do things.
Yes.
And then but I realize that in my life, I'm very polarizing. Like there's things where I'm like, I want this way. This needs to be done like this. That's the only way I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But then other aspects of my life, I don't want to think about this at all. So I want somebody else to just tell me where to be and when to be there.
Yeah.
Like I either give it 100% or 0%.
I kind of feel like we're that with you, like going back to me being neurodivergent. I feel like a lot of times there's a lot of things that I want to do, and I just get too caught up in like the process of it that I never do it, like the anxiety of the process.
Right. And I feel like I don't want to say I'm the opposite, but I know that I often minimize the process.
Yeah, and I think that's like you get more stuff done when you don't.
I mean, I don't think of. I just
this shit works out in the end.
I just jump. I mean, it always works out.
And I have a friend that is just like that, and I'm so not like that it's like how do you do that? But
I'm like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it gets done. It definitely gets done. But yes, I'm definitely the person that needs all the information before anything happens.
And I don't believe in the hype. Like, I mean, I joke all the time, like like Harvard, like that's just a school. Like, I mean, if I wanted to go there, I could have went there. Like, whatever.
Shit, you probably could. Yeah,
it ain't no thing. I don't, really believe a lot in the grander scheme of bigger or the overall just hype and stuff like that. So, and that I've never been caught up in those kind of things. So it's made it easier because I've always just believed in myself and believed my own.
Yes, the humblest lady I know.
But I mean, I could be more humble, but then why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I realize I am definitely, and that is probably just, it needs of lots of like therapy and like internal work. I'm definitely on like the more of like self-deprecating, or I feel like certain people are a little more overconfident. Cough, cough, cough. Like, they have a high self-image, right? Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I just know I'm on the lowest. Okay, whatever, bitch. All right, so
I hear you though.
The question we want to ask you as the audience is, what is homie hopping?
That was such a big jump. I knew that's where we were going, and I was trying to segue in the transition, the segue.
But
you
just
said,
okay,
so we just going in.
I was like, it's on the topic.
I have a situation, and this is. I mean, I'll keep it a stack. This is my situation. whether it's current or present, completely arbitrary. But
Current or present?
whether it's current/present, whether it's current, whether the situation is ongoing, is arbitrary.
Okay.
I don't know how many other ways I could say it.
I was like, I thought you were trying to say whether it happened in the past or it's happening now.
No, whether the situation, I use the same words.
Okay.
Whether
It's okay.
I couldn't figure out which one was right in my mind, but either
yeah,
way.
I got you.
So okay, so let's say, well, I don't know why. Let's say, like, keep it a bean. Like I was talking to somebody, right?
Mhm.
And it was chill. I mean, it never really
Went anywhere?
for real. Like it was always like no, kind of that back and forth.
Y'all were talking, no action behind it.
I mean, linked, hung out a couple times, but not too much.
Mm-hmm.
So then I go.
Did you?
No.
Okay.
But so then I go OT out of town because flights over feelings booked not busy, and I
Booked and busy.
I was booked not busy.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, so vibing, and I met someone, and I was like, oh yeah, we're kind of cool. We kind of kicked it, jumped off, linked, whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, who you here with? I'm with this group of people. First person was in that group of people. I'm like, oh shit.
We need nicknames. It just so I can follow. I ain't gonna lie.
I was just gonna do A and B, but that wasn't gonna help you.
I mean, you can do A and B. A and B's not fine. That's fine.
Okay.
So you were talking to person A.
Yeah.
Y'all kicked it a few times, but it wasn't nothing serious. So then you go out of town and you run in and you meet person B.
Yeah.
And you kind of like, oh, who you with? And he said person A.
No, he was like, I'm with this group,
Uh-huh.
this friend group. But I realized when he said that, person A might be in this friend group. And then, so basically, I met them out. Like, I was at this day party.
Mm-hmm.
So it was I guess it was considered a club lounge kind of thing. So I meet person A, person B. We're talking, chilling. I'm kind of moving around because I'm with a group of my friends there too. So later in that evening, I see A at the same event.
Oh.
Not with B,
but there.
A. And person A's kind of, they were drunk, so they were kind of like more so all up on me. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Like, I'm like, tighten up, bro. Like,
get up, stand up.
Yeah. And I was like, ugh. I was like, one, I mean, I didn't see person B in that area, but I was just like, whoa there, boy. We chill. One, because I'm just not even a big PDA person in general. So then later that day, I go to the next event, and then I see person B again, and I was like, oh, we're like kicking and talking. We take a picture together.
Oh, bitch. Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So then, so we have each other's number.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we talking, but I'm figuring like, he was kind of doing a lot that one day, but it's still kind of on ice. I was just, maybe he was drunk, just recognized me. Like, I didn't really put too much on it. So then I see them the next day because I was there for like a weekend. So I see person A
there.
I see person A at another. It was basically like just cookout kind of thing, picnic vibe.
I feel like you got to put in the context of what this thing is, so it makes a little more sense.
Okay, so it was AGP. I don't know if you guys know.
That's all
so
I gotta
was
say.
there. I was in Atlanta for AGP, Atlanta Greek picnic.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's it. So this is
yeah.
So because then that makes the relationship a little more.
So then you guys understand like why these two people will be together. Okay, so
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if that gives it more context.
Yes.
So I see person A again at the bigger picnic.
Mm-hmm.
And then like they were kind of on like the same kind of thing that they were doing the last time, but they were drunk then. So I was like, maybe this is. I've never really been around them drunk, so maybe this is just who they are.
And by this, they're kind of just like real openly flirting and like acting like y'all are something that y'all not.
Right, and like AGP's like big. I'm like,
chill.
Like, there are fine niggas everywhere. Like, you need to get the fuck off. Please, like, what if my husband sees this right now? Like, stop. Stop. So, right. So I kind of leave. We're kind of doing my own thing. I don't really link up with them the rest of that weekend.
Mm-hmm. This is person A.
Either one. I don't really see them the rest of that weekend.
Okay.
For whatever. So we're all from the same state. Well, okay. Yeah. We're all from the same state, basically. Okay, well, he's in the city that I'm right outside of. person A is in
well, they're the same area.
We're all in the same area, to be honest.
Yes.
I mean, because they went to school together.
Yes.
You know, they're in the same org. So
are they on the same line?
Yes.
It gets spicy.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they friends?
I mean, they're LBs, so that's kind of a
right. But like, you like LB, you be cool. Like, yeah, it's your brother. But like, if you don't like, do they fuck with each other?
I've been like trying to gauge the temperature on that.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out.
Okay.
Which like you can't. You ask anybody who's
a part of the Greek. Like
know,
I said, they
Greek,
said that's my
Greek
brother.
Organization. They're gonna. It's not as all. They're not
gonna be
like,
clear. Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta kind of observe it.
Yeah.
Peep it, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, you're just gonna be closer to certain people than others.
Yeah, that's just how humans work.
Right. I mean, that's no thing. But so I've been talking to both, but not. I don't talk to person A consistently, anyways.
Yeah. So you have been talking to person B consistently?
More consistently than I've been talking to person A. But
is that like a 3/1 on like a skeleton? Like you don't really talk to that person and you're talking to him a little more, but it's still not a lot? Or is it like you're definitely talking to this person a lot? Like would you consider what y'all doing talking?
Maybe like the beginning. We're still in the beginnings.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm also know that I'm a commitment phobe and I drag my feet. So like remember that.
Keep grain of salt.
Keep that with a grain of salt. So I do have, so that's kind of where I was. And I know that I was talking to one of my friends about this and she was just straight up like, you're wrong. You're homie hopping. Done. Like you need to stop. Well, and I was just like,
I think that
how is this homie hopping?
You know, that Greek life shit is like,
I mean, Greek life friends, like,
I think that they hold that those relationships like differently.
Men are messy.
Yes. And I think that that's what you realize. And that's what I learned to realize. Because I definitely, in my past life, homie hopped. And like, I homie hopped, like, best friends homie hopped. Yeah. But like, that was when I was young and dumb and, 18, like, fresh out of college, freshman stuff. Like, I would not do that now. But I don't know. If you haven't done anything with either of them, I feel like it don't really matter. And I think
I guess
it really depends on their relationship with each other, because like niggas lie. So like,
and I was just about to say like, you not doing anything really could not mean anything, because what if they say you did
something? Yeah, it's your words against theirs.
Yeah,
and then it just depends on like I said, how their relationship and whether they'll keep it a bean. And I guess, I don't know, because he seems like he has a vision of you guys, person A, that's different than your vision. Okay, come back. All right, go ahead.
This story is ongoing. So person A, they do, they work corporate, but like they do music.
Oh.
So, and I have made the mistake, not the mistake, but I'm a very honest person. So, I remember one time they sent me music and I was like, to be like, this ain't it. Like, I was like, stick to marketing. Like,
oh, bitch, what did they say?
I mean, they're like, I appreciated that. So, not too long ago, person A was like, hey, I'm not too far from you. Can I pull up on you? And I'd go want you to hear some of the music, like in the car. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever. So that was later in the evening. So they had a good amount of songs and they were like asking, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And then like in that moment, I realized like this person might actually kind of like me more than I gave
credence to
in the beginning before dealing with
person B.
So then I'm kind of in this space right now.
Or if you had to pick one.
I mean,
tequila and adults.
Huh?
Why not both?
Oh, like the
taco commercial.
The taco commercial. I'm more of in the space of like, if I need to, I'll just drop them both. And
period.
Like, niggas like buses. I could get another one.
15
my
minutes.
Roster.
Yeah, ain't nothing.
Chill or like not even really talk to anybody right now.
I feel like I downloaded Hinge and it just is like, I feel like I'm in slim pickings right now. Like,
On
to the point,
Hinge?
where Hinge is like, you need to tell us more things so we can give you more people. Like, you are saying no to too many people. But I just feel like it's just such a cycle. Like, you go through, you might add 1 or 2 people that fizzles out to like one person, and then y'all stop talking, and then you re-download the app again.
I guess
it's
my
like a
only thing
cyclical,
with
like 2-3 month thing.
I think it's interesting about Hinge that is not the same. I mean, I don't really have a lot of experience with other apps, and from what I observed on Hinge is they show who likes you, and I feel like that puts pressure on you to like
them back,
like people just because they like you.
Yeah, I think that's a part of it. I mean, Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, Black, all these apps, it's kind of like at a certain point, like if you're on there long enough, you will see other people on different apps. Like there's been several people that I've seen across apps, and it's like the answer is still no.
I mean, the same kind. Yeah, I mean,
And
you figure
so,
the same. If you haven't moved in the same area, you're gonna see the same people. But that's my. If I had, I mean, I'm not a big app person, social media person in general. Like there's periods a month where I'm just ghost. That would be my only qualm about that one. Is like I don't like putting pressure on people to like somebody just because you like them. But maybe, I mean, you could like, I don't want that to be the reason why you like them. But I know there are people out there like that who likes them. Right.
They're probably happy as shit too.
And I'm not that person. So
like I
just because you like me, I'm like, okay, we have great taste. But that doesn't mean that
you have a good taste in people.
Your eyes work. I don't know. Like
that's funny.
That's just what it is. But back to that. So is that homie hopping? What do you think? I guess I kind of had to give the backstory, but in your opinion, is that homie hopping?
Not really, but I think that you're in a weird space. Like, if this person genuinely like kind of like likes, you gotta ask them if they like you.
Because the thing is like they could really just be really messy and be like, yeah, we did this, we did that,
yeah. And so you do run that risk. So it's kind of like, if you like one more than the other, then you'd be like, yo, me and this person kind of chit-chatted. Like, where are we? What are you trying to do?
Right.
But I'm also one of the people, like, I like to just keep it a bean.
Oh, yeah, I'm like that. I'm like that,
lay
too.
just the cards on the table. And like you said, whatever happens, happens.
Right.
And so I'm like, yo, you fucking with me or not? Because I'm kind of talking to this person. And, like, we haven't done nothing, but, like,
and I guess that's why, like, I'm, I feel like I haven't gotten to that point where, like, it needs to converge. Because I feel like I'm not really
doing anything wrong. Yeah.
Serious
about either
one,
but like it's kind of like inevitably. Like
I know it's gonna happen, and when it converges, I also feel like I'm just gonna be like, y'all be blessed. Period. Be blessed and be a blessing.
I don't know. I don't really handle those situations that well. I'll put them in a group message and be like, yeah, I can't do this.
LOL.
Done that, but like I was young.
You did that before?
Yes.
Okay, the only time I did something like that, well, it wasn't on purpose, but you remember how when you could first group FaceTime?
Yeah.
I hadn't quite figured out that technology, so I thought I hung up the FaceTime and FaceTime someone else, and then I put them both on FaceTime. And I was like, hey. I was like, so what y'all finna do?
Big, that's messy. I'm living for it though.
It was honestly an accident, but it's funny thinking about it on the other side. But yeah, so that's my situation. Whether that counts as homie hopping, let me know.
All right, you know what? Yeah, let us know. Let us know. But I feel like this was a good episode. I enjoyed the conversation. I'm glad you're here to talk. This bitch, like you said, is always out of town or somewhere. She lives her best life.
As you should. You gotta live your best life till your next life.
Okay, I like that. And I've just been working. Baby, I'm tired. And I really am. Like, the countdown to this vacation is just so real. And I literally feel like I need another one, like, immediately. Like, I want to go from one vacation to the next.
You should.
Yeah, but the way that, like, money is set up is so expensive. Like,
I mean, but it doesn't have to be, you could do, like, a staycation.
But I'm also at a point where, like, I really need another job. And so I've been, like, viciously, damn, this afternoon's going by, today's gone by fast. I took today off, and, like, time will never move the way, like, when you're working, like it does when you're on your day off. This shit's zooming past, because I was supposed to be productive.
This is going to be my whole theory about time.
Yes.
Right. Is time moves at a constant speed.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely linear. But we attach feelings and emotions to time.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're at work and you're dreading something,
It takes
time
longer.
takes forever. But when you're having a great time, you're having a blast, time flies.
Or you're just cooling,
Yeah. But the speed in which time has moved hasn't changed.
Yeah. But I
you
also
feel like it's different.
I'm like, definitely feel like today was needed, and I'm very tempted to take another one, but I don't know how much PTO I'm going to have. I need to check because I'm going on that vacation. Whether or not I'm supposed to technically be working, that's on y'all. Figure it out. PTO, prepare the others. Like, I'm not going to be there.
Prepare the others.
I was telling people I was working with, like, just letting you know the last few days I'm going to be sick. So, like, just be aware of that.
I feel like places and jobs and people who have unlimited PTO, you don't use as much.
You don't, probably. Because you don't have that pressure to, like, save it and stuff. And what I also realized is, like, a lot of times when I'm, like, called off of work, I feel like I have the need to, like, have a long-winded explanation.
You don't.
And I really don't. Like, I mean, like, I will see y'all the next day, and that's fine.
I was like, you don't really have to provide details
I know.
and pressure and stuff like that. Just
Because
ask.
I even changed the wordage because I'm like, I may not be in tomorrow. I'm like, you know what? No. I'm like, I will not be in tomorrow.
Yeah, be clear, concise, and if you weren't asked the question, don't provide an answer.
Yeah,
And also only answer the question that they asked you. They don't need all the details.
Yeah, but I just feel like we're conditioned to, like, over-explain and, like, think of, like, taking time off as, like, a bad thing. When really, like, this ship's gonna sit. It's not even that, but, like, that shit will work. It worked before you. It's gonna work after you.
That part.
Like, it's like low key. This whole working shit. It's a machine. Like, they'll figure it out. They'll be fine. But yeah,
I mean, granted, unless you have some super specific job where you have like a certain set of skills that few people have,
still, then you should be appreciated and paid like that. I
Yeah.
saw things where, like, this person was like, they weren't appreciating them, and, like, everything went to shit when they quit. And I'm like, I love that. And a part of me, like, I think a lot of people, like, want that. The whole idea of, like, I'm so important and all this stuff. When I realized it, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you shouldn't have that happen. Because, like I said, they'll move on. Like, if you were to drop dead, like, they're going to replace you. And granted, they have to. Like, shit happens. Like, you can't not do those things forever. So, I don't know. I think people take things way too personal. Just in general, like, everything in life. And I'm not saying that I'm not one of those people that do that, but so I was just gonna say we'll end this off to chilling, enjoying the rest of this year. Plans to be a lot more consistent on the way, but, like, I don't know, this, like, working more than one job and, like, doing all this shit, like, trying to eat right, lose weight, save money and all this shit, and a motherfucker hits my car. Like, it's just, I feel like every time you take, like, a step forward, you just get pushed several steps back. Like, this is ghetto. Everything, moving. I guess, yeah, but, like, just everything's ghetto, and I'm over it. I just definitely need, like, a mental break. And I feel like not enough people talk about, you really do need time to disconnect from everything, going back to how, like, everything's on fire. Like, that's why I keep talking about this damn vacation. Like, I just want to pause.
Well, update us. Let us know when you come back.
I mean, hopefully we'll have an episode before I
like,
go.
I'm just saying,
when I come back, hopefully.
Give us vacation content.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because I'm already planning my outfits. I told myself I wasn't going to buy anything. And yet I have several things in more than one cart. Because I have a problem. But we have been talking for a while. And I told myself I was going to be productive with this day off. So I'm going to go, and I really appreciate you, Krystal, for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Like, that's why we're blocked. I guess the real question is, before we leave, any person that you're blocking?
Well, I mean, I kind of just talked about it with the whole homie hopping thing. I might have to block myself.
Period. I felt that before. I mean, yeah. I've done that. Blocked both of them people. Blocked everybody.
I mean, I'm not
even I'm crazy. Niggas to be blocked and then message you from other numbers. Why am I blocked? Like, bro, you didn't make the cut. I literally told somebody, like, I've left you last year. Like, you were left in 2020 or 2021. Leave me alone. But at the same time, parts of me, and I don't know if this is when I'm just ovulating, like, the urge to be in a relationship or want a nigga. Like, I deadass want to.
Recording?
Yes,
okay.
It is still recording.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I deadass want a relationship so I could stop driving every fucking where. And no, just to have somebody to talk to, I guess. But mostly, like, I just want hoodies and not to drive. Like, I need me a little boo. But yeah, who am I blocking? I'm gonna block a lot of people, but I don't know. Well, that's all, folks. Any last words?
God is love, Reverend.